You guys remember NBA Jam? I do, and I loved it. In fact, I loved the originals, and all the versions that came after it were good, but there's something missing. That arcade feel got lost as the series went on. And 2023, I think, the latest version that was out for consoles, they turned off the online servers. And so I don't know if that means you can't play the game at all anymore, but what I do know is you can't play any new version of this game. And for the most part, I'd rather be playing an old version anyways. But online play. No one added it to the Switch online consoles, not Genesis, not Super Nintendo. Why? I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't want to give up the rights because they put out all those arcade cabinets all the time with NBA Jam on it. Maybe that's the case. Oh, no. But here's what I do know. I have started making a game. Now, it's not going to be exactly NBA Jam. In NBA Jam, you would need the NBA license, and I'm not paying for that. But okay, I got it. It will hopefully look and feel like NBA Jam in some ways. It will still be somewhat original, and I will do my best to do that. But I want the same side-scrolling 2-on-2 retro feeling, retro sounding type. Look, here's the checklist, right? Up here at the top, I want it to look retro. So it'll still be a 3D game, but still got the side scroll, and you actually have to do work to make a newer game look bad or look old. And so that's the feel I'm going for. I want it to feel as snappy and fast as OG NBA Jam. And here's a twist. Oh my God. Here's a twist. This ain't just an NBA Jam clone. Because you could probably find that, or you could probably find, ROM and an emulator, and you could be off to the races playing NBA Jam right now. But roguelite elements. So if you don't know what that is, here's a definition. Oh my God, those things! If you've played anything like Balatro, etc., there's tons of these games coming out because it is such a popular concept. And after I got absolutely addicted to Balatro, I'm like, I want to do something with that. But I already had this idea of I want to do NBA Jam with a twist. What that twist was at the time, I didn't know. Now I know. NBA Jam with a twist. Actually, it's an NBA Jam-like roguelite. That's what I've been calling it. Title, I haven't figured it out yet. But here's an idea. In between each play, potentially, you will pick a card. Cards, haven't figured that out yet. And you will gain points throughout the game, separate from the game score points. I don't know what we'll call these, in order to get other cards in between each round. So you'll start off and you'll be able to pick your starter card, right? And you'll have a choice. Hopefully get a good card sound. And you'll pick your card and you'll play. Instead of picking one of the many NBA teams in order to verse the computer or verse your friends, you have the same stats. So there's no reason, the kind of thing that just doesn't make any sense anyways. Who's going to pick the worst team in the game anyways? So you have the same stats technically. The same percentages, the same odds of making this, that, or the other thing, except for whatever cards you pick. So your starter card may increase turbo length or increase ability to steal or something simple. And then as you go on and you're gaining points for things like steals, blocks, or losing points for goaltending and things like that, you'll be able to get more cards. You'll have a couple spots to put your cards. Things like that. So that's the general idea. So you do go through that. That would be the whole single player experience. It's you and your computer player teammate. Like in NBA Jam, you could pass to them, and when you press pass, it'll pass back. And that's kind of like how current day NBA games actually play as well. And you can tell them to shoot, etc. That's how that'll work too. You'll have your own drone, as original NBA Jam calls it, your own drone that's on your team. And you go through each quarter trying to win. Shot clock violations. All that will be in there. You'll be able to push people over. You'll be able to do a crazy dunk, I hope. We'll get there. And the idea is every time you play, you are the away team. Right? So every time you have the ball, the audience doesn't like it. The audience doesn't like this or that. You scored. The audience wants them to play defense. So that kind of defense song will play. I'll have to make that still. That's that general concept. When you play online against your friends, you'll flip a coin for who's home or who's away. So who gets the favored arena. And there'll be online multiplayer maybe couch co-op. I don't know about that right now. We'll get there. 1 to 4 players, because it's 2-on-2 basketball, and everyone has drones to play with. I want to build in an optional arcade mode, also online, that'll have no roguelike limits, just in case you just basically want to jam it out. That's how you play that. I want it to sound retro. Just butting in real quick to explain what I mean when I want it to sound retro. I got this thing called Super Audio Cart, right? Where they basically recreated all the sounds of all the old systems and made a synthesizer out of it. And in my opinion, the Sega Genesis theme song for NBA Jam was the best. So I recreated it using this plugin so you could hear how this kind of sounds, right? And they have a drum kit too, but I decided to, this is one of the ways I'm switching it up, is I'm pulling in my own drums for the song instead of using the same exact drum pattern that was on the original Sega Genesis theme song. So I slowed down the song a little bit BPM wise, and I made my own drums, and I used not the exact same instruments, but recreated Genesis style instruments for the song. Here's the actual original. It's a good song. Here's my version. So you can see, if you know anything about FL Studio, clearly this isn't, I'm not just sampling that, right? Play this pattern here. And then the whole thing together, baby. That's with the original drums. Turn the drums off, and we put in mine. Anyways, you get the idea. I just want to show you that I'm going to downsample sound effects so they sound retro as well. And I'm about to remake the defense. That wasn't in the original game, but I want it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anyways, back to the other me. And I want unlockable characters, and potentially you'll be able to customize your team. That may come a little bit later once we get the whole flow going, you know what I mean? So here's how it's been going. This is how it started. I followed a YouTube tutorial. I made this. It was just the idea of what would it be like the shooting and the ball going to the hoop. We got it all covered. But then I had to move on. And this was the most painful part in the world, man. Oh my God. I wish this didn't suck so bad. But I needed, all of a sudden, a ton of basketball, NBA Jam-like animations for a player. I made my player. Looks good, baby. But he's got to be animated. He's got to do the NBA Jam swipe, the jump, the shoot, the dunks, the run, pass, all this. And I'm not a 3D animator by trade. I can do it, but I really don't want to do it. So, took to Twitter and Blue Sky, which was the world's biggest mistake. I need a 3D animation done. I need a 3D animator, etc., etc. Anybody know anyone who's good? Oh my God. And for the last month, I have been tormented by bots trying to sell me animations or graphics that they didn't make. And they're not just bots, these are just scammers out there in the wild, so beware. If you ever try to commission some art off the internet, that is so unfair, bro. It's gonna be a hard road. I remember a long time ago watching a Nerd City video, and he was all about commissioning art. Of course, don't steal art. But commission art. So I went and I tried my fucking hardest. And it was just spam and scam out the butt. I can't even express how bad it is for real artists. If this, I don't know what the grift is. What are you going to do when you can't give me the art that you are promising? I don't get it. I don't know what happens when you buy from them, how terrible it looks. But some of these people, their fucking portfolio is so obviously, I would reverse image search some of the shit that they were showing me. It's on someone else's profile from years ago. I caught people red-handed. I would post it, then they would block me. It's incredible. So don't trust anybody who DMs you, hey, how are you doing? Don't trust anyone who says kindly a ton. No real salesman that you want to work with will say kindly a bunch of times. Look at their replies. Did they endlessly reply to a bunch of people the same exact thing, trying to rope people into this fucking grift? Yes. Anyways, long story short, I ended up making some of my own animations. I got some from Mixamo, and that wasn't quite right. I didn't like it. Things just weren't looking too good. And it really... What am I supposed to fucking do? I found one guy. He made me like the swipe animation, and it was okay. It was okay. And I think he's a real artist. He's got an actual portfolio. His website looks legit. I trust him. I paid him. But then it hit me. The Unity Asset Store exists. Oh my God. How wonderful. So I went on there, found the most expensive, and I expected it to cost a good amount of money, but I found the most expensive thing I've ever bought. You gotta defeat all 2017 hella basketball animations in one package. Superstar and special teams that will show you no mercy. Ooh-wee. So I've been adding them to my player. You can see he runs. He can jump. We're not doing that right now, but he can. Walk. Have the ball, not have the ball. We got this basketball court. Actually, we got this basketball court from Unity Asset Store. And it was extremely convoluted, and none of the textures works. I think they made it for the old pipeline, Unity pipeline thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, who cares? So my plan already was going to change all the textures. Anyways, I don't want it to look all shiny and fancy and realistic. So that's what I went forward doing. But there was still so much to it that was all this dynamic lighting and crap. And I only need this view of the court, right? I don't need what's behind the camera, right? So deleted everything. I replaced all the textures. And finally, we have this. This is where we are at right now. My dude can run around and kind of dribble. But I spent hours and hours and hours yesterday trying to get him to dribble, throw the ball down, comes back to the hand, follows him as he's running at a good pace, looks good. Oh man, I had probably 8 different versions of the script that does this. Animation, he's already dribbling. I can get the ball to his hand. Script-wise, I got the ball to his hand. But, so then I tried this concept. Because one of the versions I had was he's dribbling and running, but the ball, he would be throwing it down. And when you're running with the basketball, you're moving the basketball forward with you, right? So I made this version where it's casting this ray, is what it's called, is a ray cast, where from the character, you're kind of dribbling the ball forward because you're moving forward. And the faster you go, based on the speed the character's moving, would change the angle at which the ball was ahead of you so that you catch up to the ball rather than the ball catch up. For whatever fucking reason, about 3, 4, 5 versions of this didn't work. Why? No idea. So, with that being said, what we have now is something sweet. I've made good progress. I've got a great idea, in my opinion, and I'm not going to give up. So, I want you to come along on this journey as I continue to make actual devlogs going step by step by step, or really giving you updates on how much progress I've made. And I appreciate any amount of support that you throw my way. I am going to start a Patreon. You don't have to join. I'm not begging you, but I will put it out there. And if I've already made it by this point, the link will be in the description. I appreciate anything. There's some other links in the description on how to support me, but if you don't want to support me at all, that's fine. You can buy the game I already released on Steam right now. It's called Voice Quest. It's a 3D platformer. You control your voice. It's a lot of fun, and there might just be a sale coming up. Let me know in the comments if there's any feature that you would be interested in having in this game. I'm very curious. Curious what people think about the idea. As much as I've talked about it on Blue Sky, it seems that people like the idea, the concept. I want to make the people happy. So if you have some ideas, some thoughts on an NBA Jam roguelite, actually we'll call it a jam-like roguelite, jam-like roguelite. If you have any ideas, anything you like the idea, let me know. I want to know everything. Subscribe, and please follow me on Twitch, where I have a lot of good times with my buddies. And maybe, if desired, if you guys let me know, maybe I will work on the game live in front of you. But for now, that's it. And if I've made the Patreon by now, again, it's down there. So if you feel like supporting me, thank you. That's it for now. Until next time.